In most of the books or in text material, generally correlation and regression is listed together and discussed together. But before discussing correlation and regression, I would like to mention few points. So first two points are shown on your screen, and the first point in correlation and regression is correlation is used to assess whether the two variables are associated or not. So here at correlation, we have some conditions also that our correlation will be only for continuous variable, and the association mean that by increasing one variable, your second variable have some changes, and these changes may be either positive. It means by when your one variable will increase, your second variable will also increase, or it may be negative. It means that if your one variable will increase, your second variable will decrease. So these are terms at positive correlation and negative correlation. The example of positive correlation may be your height and your BMI. Ideally, when your height increases, your BMI will also increase in some proportion. So it will be termed as positive correlation. The example of negative correlation may be your age and productivity in hard work. Initially, it will increase, but with the increase in your age about 30 or 40, your hard work and your productivity of hard work may decrease also. So it is an example of positive mixed type of correlation, and one part of your age have a positive correlation, and second part of your age will show the negative correlation in this phenomena. Second type of thing we can do with correlation and regression, and it is listed on your screen, is in regression is basically to enable the value of one variable to predict from any known value of other variable. It is called as regression. If I will give an example, suppose I have some idea and a model about your BMI and age, and if I know your age, or if I know your height and BMI have some correlation, and if I know your height, I can predict your BMI up to some extent. So these type of work or modeling is called as regression. It should be mentioned that the correlation and regression both are completely different. In correlation, we only get the direction of the relation, that if one variable will change, what will be impact of on another variable. But in regression, we get magnitude of the relation also, that if we change one variable, how much change we can anticipate in another variable which is already related. And this regression may have many type of regression. It may be simple linear regression, or it may be of logistic regression, or it may be a nonlinear regression also. But in your module, we will discuss and focus only on linear regression. So let's start first with correlation. So correlation is method of analysis to use when studying the possible association between two continuous variable. I will write it again. So your Correlation can be written as correlation is the method of analysis to use when studying the possible association between two continuous variable. It should be mentioned again that in correlation we will be focused only on continuous variables. If we have other than continuous variables like categorical or something else, our measure of association will be different from correlation. So suppose we have two variable, one is your weight in kilogram and another is BMI. So all of know that weight and BMI have some relation and both are on in continuous scale. So if we plot BMI and weight of entire class, all the 25 students of the class, so on x-axis if we plot weight and on y-axis if we plot BMI, we may get the value something like this. It may be perfectly linear or it may be not perfectly not linear, but there will be some relationship of some extent and it will increase linearly. And if you want to draw a line from this graph, it is called as a scatter diagram. So if you plot a continuous variable on x-axis, here we have plotted weight in kilogram on x-axis, and another continuous variable on y-axis we have plotted BMI on y-axis, and just plot all the values on the graph. You can term it as a scatter diagram and you can fit a line. We will discuss how to fit a line later on, but here if we want to just draw a line by fitting, it can show that the overall the trend of these data points are something like this. Here we can check that if weight is increasing, BMI is also increasing. So if we have positive changes in one variable, we are getting positive changes in another variable under study. So if the direction of the change is same, so we have direction of change here. If both variable are moving together, for it means that when weight increases, BMI is also increases. It will be termed as positive correlation. Suppose we are plotting two other variables. One variable is absence in this class or absence in the module, in hours, and your marks. And if we plot it on the diagram, we may get that those who are present in all the classes may have some good marks, and we may get data something like it. They all it is obvious that there will be some exceptional cases also that they did not attended even a single class and they may get good marks because it is video recorded or they have studied from somewhere else. That is also possible in this case, but the overall trend of such type of data will be something like it. Here, when we are increasing one variable, another variable is decreasing. So here the direction is opposite, because if one is increasing, another is decreasing. So our direction of relation is opposite, and it is called as negative correlation. If we take a specific example from a hospital setup, because this batch is especially for hospitals. So if we take another example of hospital setup and we plot two variables, one is, suppose, hospital stay, that how much time a patient stayed in a hospital, and on y variable, his bill, his or her bill. So I'm writing here bill, hospital bill. So it is obvious that if you spend more time in a hospital, your bill will shoot up. So it will be something like it. Bill may be paid from insurance and may be paid or maybe waived off completely. I'm not discussing those conditions, but ideally, if you stay more in a hospital, your hospital bill will be more. So it is another case of a positive correlation. You can draw a line on this data set and it will show an upward trend. So trend is in this side here. So it is another example of your positive correlation. If we take another example of a hospital setup, and if we draw on x-axis that delay in arrival in hospital in ICU, suppose, in accidental cases, and on y-axis I'm plotting probability of survival. So everyone knows that a delay of even a minute, of 10-minute window or 15-minute window in case of severe accident may be fatal, and your probability of survival may decrease drastically. So if you plot this, if there is a no delay, you reached within time frame, within fraction of minutes or within 5 to 10 minutes to hospital, your probability of survival may be higher. And if you do a lot of delay in reaching your hospital, your probability of survival obviously decreases in case of fatal accidents. So you may get something like it, and it is an example of negative correlation again. Here I have not included the effect of other variables. Those are, suppose it is age, it is severity of accident. I am just using a simple model of two variables only. So it is a bivariate case that if we delay arrival in ICU, our probability of survival will decrease. So it is a example of a negative correlation. If we take another example of same hospital and plot height of individual on x-axis and his or her waiting time in OPD on y-axis. So we already know that both the variables are not related, and if I am tall, I am a short person, I will not have any preference or disadvantage in OPDQ. So it will be something like this. It will be complete noise, and it will have almost no correlation, or if there is any correlation, it will be only by chance only. So I should get a straight line here. if I plot a trend, and it is example of no correlation. So now we have three terms: positive correlation, negative correlation, and zero correlation. So the correlation can be either positive or negative, or it may be no correlation also. So now we know the type of correlation in terms of positive, negative, and no correlation. Now, how to measure the correlation? So correlation is measured by a term known as correlation coefficient, and correlation coefficient are basically two types. One is used as Pearson correlation, and another is Spearman correlation coefficient. So once we know we have two different type of coefficient, it is question which coefficient is used in which condition. So I will start with Pearson correlation coefficient, and will list the condition when Pearson correlation coefficient should be used. So the first condition arrive here is the correlation. I will later list the type of correlation, and the first thing is type of data. From the first class, I am giving the emphasis on measurement of a scale, because with the change in measurement of a scale, every measurement of a statistic, every statistic formula changes. So if you have interval or ratio data, you will use Pearson correlation coefficient. So it is important to remember about measurement of scale. The second condition of Pearson correlation coefficient is linearity, and your data should be linearly related. If the data is curvilinear or some other type, curvilinear means if your data follows the diagram something like this or something like this, or it is zigzag, it is example of non-linear relationship or curvilinear or quadratic relationship. It is basically non-linear one. And if the correlation is something like this shown in this image, this one, so the Pearson correlation coefficient may not be suitable measure to measure the correlation in this situation. And if you even calculate using Pearson correlation in this situation, it may be misleading. The actual relationship may not be shown by the Pearson correlation coefficient. And the last condition is of normality or Gaussian distribution. So again, the Gaussian distribution came in the light, and this is the importance of Gaussian distribution, that it used repeatedly across the statistical application. So if all three conditions are fulfilled among two variables and you want to measure the association between two variables, you may choose for Pearson correlation coefficient. So formula of Pearson correlation coefficient can be written as R is equal to summation of xi minus x bar, because we have two variables, so it is yi minus y bar. You can give x and y notation to any of the variable under study, and in the denominator it will be under root of summation of x minus x bar square and y minus y bar square. I will put I with all the observations here. So you have to calculate basically mean of all the observation, and then only you can calculate correlation of both the terms. So now suppose we have few observations of our, we have taken example of waiting time on hospital and OPD and height in centimeter. And we have some observations here. Suppose it is 10 minute, 5 minute, 8 minute, 9 minute, 20 minute, 18 minute, 16 minutes, and you have height in centimeter about 150, 154, 168, 170, 165, 162, and 160 centimeter. So you can calculate correlation between height in centimeter and waiting time given in OPD in this scenario. Or you can use another example of BMI and weight or height. So I'm taking your height in centimeter and BMI, and if I list all the observations, I have suppose 5 observations here. So your height may be about 160, 161, 155, 170, and 165. And suppose your BMI have some value also. So your BMI I'm listing here. Suppose 22, 23, 21, 24, and 23. It is clearly visible that height has little bit impact on BMI, but if we take weight instead of height, BMI, the relation of weight and BMI is little bit higher in comparison of relation of height and BMI. We will discuss these things when we will discuss regression also. So we know about the correlation now. We have two type of correlation. One is Spearman, another is Pearson. We are discussing Pearson correlation here. And now some more thing, the range of correlation. So range of correlation is basically -1 to +1. So either your correlation may be -1 or maximum may be +1. It includes 0 also. So don't confuse with the range of probability, because range of probability is 0 to 1, but range of correlation is -1 to +1. Please remember this thing. Another this thing is the Pearson correlation is represented with R. There is another term R square also. Please don't confuse with both the terms. This is different thing used in regression, and it is correlation. I will introduce it in when we will discuss regression part later on in this video. So here I have few slides for you, and in this slide we have height on x-axis and weight on y-axis, and we have shown the relationship between height and weight. And if we plot your height and your weight on x and y-axis, we will get a graph like similar like it, and the values may be arranged in this fashion. It will not fit a complete linear. A straight line may be observed here because the line is almost linear, and your R is also 0.971, which is quite near to 1, and it comes in the perfect correlation category. And if we take another example of your activity and BMI, here I have plotted activity on x-axis and BMI on y-axis. Activity is plotted in minutes, your daily activity in minutes, and your BMI on y-axis. So those who are less active may have higher BMI, and those who are highly active may have a perfect BMI, even some less than required level also that may be observed. And we have also observed that even with same activity, BMI is almost same also. And here it is an example of almost perfect negative relation, and your R calculated here is minus 0.969. The another example I have here is your weight and your hemoglobin. So ideally your height and your hemoglobin level may not have a linear or alien relationship. And if I put your weight in kilogram on x-axis and your hemoglobin on y-axis, I will get a scatter plot something like it. And here I have a poor correlation. It is R is equal to minus 0.205. It is not that much related. It is correlation but weakly correlated. It is called as weakly correlated data. I will discuss now how to categorize correlation in strong, weak, poor correlation also. So it is basically based on the absolute value of R. How to define the category of correlation? We already discussed what is absolute value, and you will get either minus R or plus R. It will be ranging -1 to +1. Your R will be something like this. And suppose if absolute of R, your absolute of R, if you remove the sign, is less than 0.3, it is termed as weak correlation. So your if your absolute value is of R is less than 0.3, it is termed as weak correlation. If your absolute value of R is in range of 0.3 to 0.5, sorry, it is very weak correlation or no correlation, and it is termed as weak correlation or poor correlation. And if your absolute of R is 0.5 to 0.7, it is moderate correlation. And if your absolute of R is greater than 0.7, it is termed as a strong correlation. And if your absolute of R is about 1, it is called as perfect correlation. So in this way you can categorize your R, that is Pearson correlation coefficient, and the same categorization will work with Spearman correlation also. And now I will discuss how to calculate Spearman correlation in detail. So now we have Spearman correlation. Spearman correlation is useful if your data is not exactly following Gaussian distribution, or if your data have extreme values, or if your data is something like score, like pain score in hospitals. You have SOFA score in hospital also. You must have learned these scores in your first or second semester. You have a term called Apache score. You have MELD score. A lot of scores are used in the hospital setup, and all the scores are came in category of Spearman correlation. Even if your one variable follows exactly Gaussian distribution and come in Pearson category, and another follows non-Gaussian distribution or is a score or have some extreme values, you have to choose Spearman correlation instead of Pearson correlation in that case. So the formula of Spearman correlation can be written as R. Here we write a small s with R, and it is equal to 1 minus 6 summation d square divided by n into n square minus 1. So as we discussed in non-parametric, we move to ranking from mean and SD. Once in non-parametric, same thing happened in Spearman correlation also. In Pearson correlation, we were calculating mean and SDs, and in Spearman correlation, we will move to ranking of the observations. And suppose we are taking another, again the example of weight and height. We have now a height data and weight data of suppose 5 individual of your class. So I'm listing weight and height in each column here. I'm writing something like it so we can rank all those observations. So suppose we have height and weight of 5 individuals of your class, and it is not following Gaussian distribution. So suppose your weight was something like 50, 52, 55, 57, and one individual is about 90 kg, and your height was something in, it is in kilogram and height is in centimeter. So your height is about 150, 155, 160, it is 159, and here when weight was high, height was still low, and it is 150 kg. So here we have one extreme value, it is too much high from all other values, and it is called as extreme value. You have read the concept of extreme value in your first course of DADM module. So suppose it is our data. So what we will do, we will rank weight first. We know how to rank a variable. So we will rank weight, then we will rank height. We have 5 individuals, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So we will rank all those individuals. And once we will have rank of individual, we will calculate difference of rank, and it will be called as D. And once we will have D, we can calculate D square, it is only square of that D. And once you have D square, you can use this formula. Here n is your sample size, we have 5 samples, so it will be 5 only. Suppose we have height of 6 individual, we would weight of only 5 individual, still our sample size will be 5 only, because we have only 5 ranks differences. So the complete data size will be your sample size of the study. So you can calculate Spearman correlation with the help of this formula here. 6 and 1 is your constant, it will not change, so only d square and n square will change, and again you will have some value of this rs, and it will again fall -1 to +1 range, and the nomenclature and the correlation terminology will be same as Pearson correlation here also. And if your absolute of R below 0.3, you will call it very weak correlation or poor correlation. And if your absolute R is almost 1, you will call as perfect correlation, or in different categories you can categorize your Spearman as well as Pearson correlation. So by this way, we have finished the correlation, especially Spearman correlation and Pearson correlation. You can calculate the what is the Spearman correlation in this case, and you can also calculate a Pearson correlation in same case, assuming it is normal distribution, and you can compare the values of Spearman correlation and Pearson correlation and decide what is the impact of extreme values on correlation coefficient in different situations. One more important thing comes in the light, because now you know hypothesis testing and all other formulas. So we can discuss about testing of hypothesis for correlation also, that when you test a particular correlation, you calculate a correlation. So suppose you have calculated a correlation and it comes at 0.6. So now you have to test that your hypothesis. So you have a null hypothesis that the R is equal to 0 against the alternate hypothesis R is not equal to 0. It means there is a no correlation condition, and it means there is some either good or bad correlation, or negative or positive correlation. And when you will test this correlation, you have a t statistic again, and this t is equal to R under root of n minus 2, n is your sample size, divided by 1 minus r square. It will follow a t distribution with n minus 2 degree of freedom and alpha level of significance. We already discussed what is degree of freedom and what is level of significance. So if you want to calculate that the your calculated correlation is significant enough, it is by chance or it is actual some correlation, it is spurious or not, you can calculate your t statistic by this formula. Or if you use softwares, it will automatically give you a correlation value with a p value, and you can decide the correlation is significant or not based on your p-value. I will recommend one more thing here. Once you calculate correlation, you should go with CI, that confidence interval of correlation, also if you want to interpret something. So suppose we want to calculate our correlation with the help of R commander. So we will call R commander first in our laptop or desktop. So now we have R command, the window is visible here, and now we will first import our data set so that we can calculate some values based on our data set. So suppose we have already shared a data set with all of you, and I am importing same data set here. So now my data is here and I can view the data. It is again that waiting time example. We have some waiting time data. So we have two waiting times, and if I want to calculate correlation between two waiting times, so I have to click on statistics, then summaries, then correlation matrix. And when I will click on this correlation matrix, my all the continuous variables will be listed here only. All categorical variables are not involved here. So I will select the variables. We have to select minimum two variables to get a correlation value. I have selected both the two variables, and you can choose between Pearson correlation or Spearman correlation based on your data set. So I have chosen here Pearson correlation, and I have complete observations. So the complete observations is selected, and when I will click on OK, it will give me my Pearson correlation value here. It is 0.8155. It is quite good correlation. And if I want to test the hypothesis, the null hypothesis that my H naught says there is a no correlation against the two-sided alternate, that there is some correlation. So I can select again both the variables, select Pearson, then two-sided I can select Spearman if my data is non-Gaussian or have some extreme value, or it is a score data set, and we'll click on OK. So now I have some more results here. In both the cases our correlation value is same. Now we have our calculated t statistics. We have 10 observations, so our degree of freedom here is 8, and now we have a p-value also, and our p-value is less than our desired level of significance. I have considered it as a 5% while testing it, so our p-value is less than 0.05 here, so we will reject our null hypothesis, and we assume that there is some correlation, and the correlation is actually positive one. So you can interpret in same way with same data set or a different data set. You can repeat the data set with some different data set. You can generate your own data set, or if you have some data set you can generate own. I will give another example also with some other data set. So here now I have imported another data set. I have this waiting time one, or only waiting time, and a feedback score of waiting time. So all the individuals of OPD, that we have 15 individuals, we have 15 waiting time in minutes and 15 feedback score here. So now as it is a score, we have to move now Spearman correlation. So now we will calculate Spearman correlation. We'll select Spearman correlation and we'll click on OK. So now we have a Spearman variable value as 0.78. Now we can test the value also. So we will correlation test of both the variables, and it is now Spearman. So we have tested our Spearman value also, or you can directly only test the value. It will give the result of correlation as well as your test hypothesis also. Suppose we are now doing Pearson correlation on same data. Let's check. So now we can see it here that our Spearman correlation was 0.78. It is shown here, and when we tested with same with Pearson correlation, it is 0.82. So Pearson calculation value is higher here, but our data is a feedback score, and the appropriate measure is Spearman correlation here instead of Pearson correlation. So you have to choose the data set. What is your measurement scale? Is it following Gaussian distribution or not? On the basis of those things, you have to decide our correlation coefficient. It is Pearson or Spearman. Hope everything is clear in this Pearson and Spearman correlation. If you have any question, you can share your questions also. I will tell you in email that how to share your questions. Thanks a lot.